Well, hello. It's another day. It's another day for public domain poetry. Public domain poetry. Two, four, 7 syllables, isn't it? Two, four, five, six. Yep, 7 syllables. What does that entail? I have no idea. I'll think of something. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing okay. And if you're not, then things have a way of turning around. You never know. Chin up and all that is what they say. Or they. I don't know. Somebody probably did a lot of losing in life, maybe. Anyway, no bogey today. He had a run in with trying to put on some Bermuda shorts and it didn't go so well. Some people aren't just meant to wear Bermuda shorts. Bogey? No. No. Especially if you're made out of plaster like that. I suppose if I was made out of plaster, I wouldn't want to wear Hawaiian shorts. Hawaiian shirts are plaid pants, like a golfer. Or like the stereotypical golfer, because I don't think real golfers wear that. They wear like clothes with dignity. Um, but I imagine if I was made of plaster and I was wearing Hawaiian shirts and plaid pants, I don't think I could manage to look at myself in the mirror for at least a few months, maybe a year. That's possible. During COVID, I mastered the art of cutting my own hair without looking in the mirror and shaving without looking in the mirror. It's an amazing ability. You just strictly go by feel. I mean, I'm not going to say it was because I was wearing Hawaiian shirts that I started doing that, but maybe I should just be honest once in a while and just admit that yes, I have worn Hawaiian shirts in the past, and perhaps that really was the reason. Anyway, no bogey. So we have Bill here. Say hi, Bill. Okay. Don't ask me what he's looking at. Just yeah. You don't want to know what he's looking at. He's not looking at me. I'm to the left. I'm camera left, which is not his left. That's camera left. I'm to the left of the camera, and he's looking camera left. So I am back camera left, and he is looking front camera left. So he's not looking in my direction. He's looking in the opposite direction because to him it would be looking camera right. And I'm not sitting camera right. I'm sitting camera left from my camera left. But Bill here has a very subtle message, and I just wonder if anyone could pick up what exactly it is. And it's not don't smoke if you're made out of plaster. I mean, just don't smoke in general. And it's not don't be an athletics fan or don't be a White Sox fan. It's don't be aware of too many hats. And that has a saying that goes back many, many years. If you're wearing too many hats, it means you have too many professions. And it's like a firefighter who also is a cop and is also in another profession that has hats involved. You can't be aware of too many hats because you can't devote so much time to just one thing. You can, however, be a fan of two baseball teams, but I don't think Bill's a fan of either of them. But you never know. Now, I've been sitting on these poems for, I think, about 10 or 12 days now. It might have been 3 weeks. And I do mean physically sitting on them. I have a swivel chair with a very worn down cushion, and I put the poems on the bottom of the swivel chair because there's very little cushioning. And I don't mean to say that the poems are bad because I really can't pass judgment because I haven't read them yet. But they have been sitting there for a while, and they've given me some much needed comfort in a very sensitive area. And I don't mean physical; I just mean psychological. Some people do sit on their brains. Maybe that is or is not a metaphor. But the poems by the poet that I've been sitting on is Jonathan Swift, among others. I might get to the others later. It depends if Bill tells me it's okay. He's taciturn. I doubt he'll say a thing. But Jonathan Swift. And I only have 3 Jonathan Swift poems here. So I ought to read more. I did have more that I was physically sitting on by Edward Smythe or Smith Jones because I really enjoyed reading those. I mean, it was a great experience. I can't tell you how rewarding it was to read that. And it was just a wonderful experience. I don't know how to say his name yet, but it was just really good. And it got me thinking that poetry is basically hated now. A lot of people it's like you're getting invited to a night out and it's people saying, "Oh, let's go bowling." And maybe some people like to go bowling and that's okay, but it's not a popular pastime I don't think anymore, or maybe it ever was. But I mean that movie Kingpin came out like 30 years ago. And I don't know if that made bowling popular or not, but it was like a kind of like a joke pastime, like a joke sport. And it got me thinking that well, poetry is mocked. Who likes poetry? Who likes poetry now? I mean, it's in music. You can't avoid it in music. But who likes poetry? Well, my idea is who's being taught good poetry? None of this stuff I've been taught my entire life. None of it. Almost none of it, I should say. Some teachers did their job, some did not. The Edgar Allan Poe stuff, they tried. I was just a really lousy student. But Jonathan Swift, Edward Smythe or Smith Jones, I don't even know how to say his name. If I was taught Edward Smythe or Smith Jones, I would know how to say his name. And his poetry is great. I mean, it turned my hair darker color after I was reading it instead of all gray. I mean, I'm not going to swear to that in any kind of like, real sense. I mean, think of it as like a metaphor. But it was a very rewarding experience. But I just did Edward Smythe or Smith Jones poems. I mean, I just read Edward Smythe or Smith Jones poems. You got to phrase things very carefully nowadays. I did not do anybody by that name except read poems by that person. And besides, that person passed away many, many, many years ago because this is public domain poetry. It goes back 100 years or more. Like that Richard Lovelace poems. That goes back maybe 300 years ago. Which is my point. What poet is taught now in schools will be remembered in 300 years? I can't think of any. No poet that I was told is good and taught in school is worth remembering to me. But that's just my opinion. Not Bill's, but Bill's got a lot on his mind right now. So Jonathan Swift. Jonathan Swift. And I'm going to take my sunglasses off. I don't know why I have them on. It's not particularly bright in here, and it's not particularly bright out there. So, sunglasses off. Good. Hear that? I just took them off. And I probably just cracked the lens. Now, an epigram by Jonathan Swift. Let me clear my larynxes here. You can't really tell, but I mean, you can't. I mean, you really can't tell, but it's actually allergy season here, and I mean, this is the first time I've done a video when the sun is out. Usually, it's gray, it's dreary, or it's nighttime, and it's gray and dreary, but you can't tell because it's nighttime. But right now, at this very moment, the sun is out. It is warm, and it is allergy season. So if I start sneezing on the microphone, don't blame me. I don't edit anything. I'm not that intelligent. I just read poetry here. So, an epigram by Jonathan Swift. Prick your ears up, Bill. The scriptures affirm, as I heard in my youth, for indeed I ne'er read them, to speak for one's truth, that death is the wages of sin, but the just shall die not. Although they be laid in the dust, they say so, so be it. I care not a straw, although I be dead both in gospel and law. In verse I shall live and be read in each climate. What more can be said of prime sergeant or primate? While Carter and Prendergast both may be rotten, and damned to the bargain, and yet be forgotten. How about that? I mean, how about that? That last line wasn't part of the poem. Of course not. I mean, he wasn't conversing in little dinky sentences like "How about that?" But I like that. An epigram by Jonathan Swift. I like it so much I'm going to read it again. Excuse me. The scriptures affirm, as I heard in my youth, for indeed I ne'er read them to speak for one's truth. That death is the wages of sin, but the just shall die not. Although they be laid in the dust, they say so. So be it. I care not a straw. Although I be dead both in gospel and law, in verse I shall live, and be read in each climate. What more can be said of prime sergeant or primate? While Carter and Prendergast both may be rotten, and damned to the bargain, and yet be forgotten. Now, what does that poem mean to me? It means that we are all destined to turn to dust at some point. It's an unattractive thought, but it happens. I mean, we all have to go. I mean, it's just natural. And the way I see it is, if we all have to do it, how bad can it be? I mean, it's just the course of time. So that's it's a fatalistic way of looking at it, and just a fatalistic kind of way of thinking. But this is a wages of sin. The death is the wages of sin. So I guess living a darker life means a less fulfilling existence, which means that although we all end up in the same place, we all have to bear the blah 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 of our actions and blah blah this and blah blah that. Maybe. They're going to power wash the side of that house soon. Aren't you excited? I'm supposed to power wash these windows. I mean, these windows are fantastic. You can see right through them, but not so good right now. I have to clean them. I'll get around to it. I promise. From me to you. A Letter to Dr. Helsham by Jonathan Swift. And as implied, it reads like a letter. And it even opens with an address to the person itself. A bunch of two sentence, I guess you can call them stanzas. I don't know. I just read this stuff. I don't know the technical terms. I'll figure it out. A letter to Dr. Helsham by Jonathan Swift. Sir, pray discrew my lordy Lou. If you don't understand a word, you've never seen it before, and I've never seen this word before in my life, just spell it out just spell it out when you say it. Just spell it out. I'll spell it out as I say it. Unfortunately, I still don't know what it means, but I'll try and reason the meaning when you read further. That's another way to learn a word that you don't know, and there's no one around to help you and tell you, and you really can't access like a glossary or a dictionary because you know I do have a dictionary. No, I don't. I can't access it. Oh, I'll get a dictionary one of these days. I promise. But the idea is, you just break it down into the syllables. So I'm going to do my best. It's spelled Discruciate. Discruciate. Pray discruciate what follows. Discruciate. Pray discruciate what follows. I don't like Jonathan Swift anymore. A letter to Dr. Helsham by Jonathan Swift. Sir, pray discruciate what follows. The dullest beast in gentleman's liquor, when young is often due to the vicar. The dullest of beasts, in swine's delight, make up a bird very swift of flight. The dullest beast, when high in stature, and another of royal nature, for breeding is a useful creature. The dullest beast, and a party distressed, when too long is bad at best. The dullest beast, in the saddle it wears, is good for partridge, not for hares. The dullest beast, and kind voice of the cat, will make a horse go, through he be not fat. The dullest of beasts, and of birds in the air, is that by which all Irishmen swear. The dullest beast, and famed college fatigues, is a person very unfit for intrigues. The dullest beast, and a cobbler's tool, with a boy that is only fit for school, in summer is very pleasant and cool. The dullest beast, and that which you kiss, may break a limb of master or miss, or of serpent kind, and what in distant kills, poor Mistress Dingley oft hath felt its bills. The dullest beast, and eggs unsound, without it I rather would walk on the ground. The dullest beast, and what covers a house, without it a writer is not worth a louse. I like that one. The dullest beast, and scandalous vermin, of roast or boiled to the hungry is charming. Sounding like the dull beast. The dullest beast, and what's covered with crust, there's nobody but a fool that would trust. The dullest beast, and mending highways, is to a horse an evil disease. What? The dullest beast, and a hole in the ground, will dress a dinner worth £5. The dullest beast, and what doctors pretend the cook made often has by the end. The dullest beast, and fish for Lent, may give you a blow you'll forever repent. The dullest beast, and a shameful jeer, without it a lady should never appear. Wednesday night. I write all these before I went to bed. Pray explain them for me, because I cannot do it. That was really a part of the poem, that last line. So, even Jonathan Swift doesn't know what the heck he's talking about here. But he asked Dr. Helsham to answer the question for him because I guess Dr. Helsham is his psychiatrist or his urologist or his gastritis guy, or maybe he's his podiatrist for all I know. A lot of problems stem from bad feet. I can't stress that enough. Poor feet. I wake up and my feet hurt. I put that down to age. I don't have gout. What else could it be? Falling arches. I have like bruised arches from strangling my walking. I guess I need to like drink more water because it hurts my feet. I don't know. I'm not meant to know. And you know what? Jonathan Swift doesn't know either. Pray discruciate. How do you know? He doesn't even know what discruciate means, does he? Ugh. Okay, well, I'm going to read it again. I owe it to myself to read this again. I don't care if anybody else never hears this in my life or anybody else's life. I owe it to me because some of this was pretty funny. I owe it to myself. So I'm going to do it. Okay. Well, I'm just going to read. Wait a minute. I'm going to read the beginning and the end. And then I'm going to read the whole thing through again with the beginning and the end. But first, I'm going to read the beginning again. Sir, pray discruciate what follows. Wednesday night. I writ all these before I went to bed. Pray explain them for me because I cannot do it. I wish I could get away with some, telling that to a doctor. I probably can't do it. It would be funny though. All the things the ideas that comes into my head from reading this stuff. They say, reading a lot of poetry will inspire you to write poetry. I've written one poem. I'm not going to share it on here because it's kind of lurid, but it involves, pooping and it's a stupid joke poem. It's like the crap, humor poems, but it inspired me to write that. But this poem, I mean, it's just going to inspire me to like make a belly laugh. I'm containing it very well. A letter to Dr. Belsham. Helsham. Helsham. By Jonathan Swift. Okay. Sir, pray discruciate what follows. The dullest beast and gentleman's liquor when young is often due to the vicar. The dullest of beasts and swine's delight make up a bird very swift of flight. The dullest beast, when high in stature, and another of royal nature, for breeding is a useful creature. The dullest beast in a party distress, when too long, is bad at best. The dullest beast in the saddle it wears is good for partridge, not for hares. The dullest beast and kind voice of a cat will make a horse go, though he be not fat. The dullest of beasts and of birds in the air is that by which all Irishmen swear. The dullest beast and feigned college fatigues is a person very unfit for intrigues. The dullest beast and the cobbler's tool, with a boy that is only fit for school, is in summer is very pleasant and cool. The dullest beast and that which you kiss may break a limb of master or miss. Of serpent kind, and what a distant kills, poor Mistress Dingley oft hath felt its bills. The dullest beast and eggs unsound, without it I rather would walk on the ground. The dullest beast and what covers a house, without it a writer is not worth a louse. The dullest beast and scandalous vermin, of roast or boiled, to the hungry is charming. The dullest beast and what's covered with crust, there is nobody but a fool that would trust. The dullest beast in mending highways is to a horse an evil disease. The dullest beast in a hole in the ground will dress a dinner worth £5. The dullest beast in what doctors pretend the cook made often as by the end. The dullest beast in fish for Lent may give you a blow you'll forever repent. The dullest beast in the shameful jeer, without it a lady should never appear. Wednesday night. I wrote all these before I went to bed. Pray explain for them for me, because I cannot do it. Neither can I, John. Neither can I. Oh, this is a short one, though. But it's the last one. I don't think I'm going to get into the Haji Podgy ones right now, because it's allergy season and the sun's no longer out. And there's so much joy there, when the sun's not out. But I might change my mind if Jonathan Swift doesn't try to twist my ears off with his writing with words like "discruciate" on me again. A ballad by Jonathan Swift. Pratchett Astor. What news upon the town? By my souls there's bad news, for the gold she was pulled down. The gold she was pulled down, of that I'm very sure. For I saw them reading upon the toll door. Sing, ok, 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 oh, oh, hurrah! Well, who was him reading? 'Twas Gentleman in ruffles, and Patrick's bell. She was ringing all in muffles. She was ringing very sorry, her tongue tied up with rag. Lortia! And out of her steeple there was hung a black flag. Sing, och, and see. Patrick ashore, who was him made this law? Some they do say 'twas the big man of straw, but others they do say that is it was Jug Jolter. The devil he may take her into hell and bolt her. Sing, oak, and see. Musha! Why, Parliament, wouldn't you maul those carters and pavors and footmen and all, those rascally pavors who did in us undermine. Okma sita milla mulligart on the feeders of swine. Sing, oak, and see. Oh my dear. Make sense of that. That's a ballad. A ballad is like a nice song. Patrick Astor, what news upon the town? By my soul, there is bad news, for the gold was put down. The gold she was pulled down, of that I'm very sure. So it makes better sense when you read it quick. Read it quick, read it quick, read it quick, read it quick, read it quick. Read it. Patrick Asor, what news upon the town? By my soul, there is bad news. For the gold she was put down. The gold she was pulled down, of that I'm very sure. For I saw them reading upon the tossil door. Sing, ok, 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 oh, ho. Hurrah! Who was him reading? It was gentleman in ruffles. And Patrick's bell was ringing in all his muffles. She was ringing very sorry, her tongue tied up with rag. Lortia! And out of her steeple there was hung a black flag. Sing, ok, and see. Patrick Asor, who was him made this law? Some they do say, it was the big man of straw, but others they do say, it was the Jung Jutor, the devil he may take her into hell and bolt her. Sing, og, and see. Moshe, what parliament wouldn't you maul? Those carters and parvors and footmen and all, those rascally parvors who did us undermine. Akmak mele de Mikalagot, the on the feeders of swine, sing, og, and see. Okay, okay. Footnotes. Okay, Aster. This is what Aster means, my dear, my heart. Okay. The Tonsel door, for I saw them reading upon the Tonsel door, where criminals for the city. This is the public domain poetry website, by the way. These footnotes. The Tonsel, while where criminals for the city were tried and where proclamations, etc., were posted, was invariably called the tousled by the lower class. Okay. Sing ok ok ho ho. It would appear that the chorus here introduced was intended to chime with the howl, the ululatus, or funeral cry of the Irish. Okay. And fourth footnote, Swift, it is said, caused a, as I said, it's the public domain poetry website. These are their words. Copyright 2005. Public/domain/poetry.com. Highly recommended. This is not where I'm getting all the poems, though. It's like a reference, so let me know where they are. I mean, what is and is not public domain poetry. I got big books. 4. Swift, it is said, caused a muffled peal to be rung from the steeple of St. Patrick's on the day of the proclamation and a black flag to be displayed from its battlements. Why am I reading the footnotes? I have an idea. I'm going to read this and put the footnotes in the poem. Maybe that'll make it make sense. Patrick, my dear, my heart, what news upon the town? By my soul, there's bad news. For the good gold she was pulled down. The gold she was pulled down, of that I am sure. For I saw them reading upon the lower class door. That makes a lot of sense. Sing oak oak ho ho. Funeral cry in Irish. Okay. Hurrah, who was him reading? Hurrah, who was him reading? That's better. 'Twas Jauntleman, Jauntleman, Jauntleman in ruffles, and Patrick's bell was ringing all in muffles. She was ringing very sorry, her tongue tied up with rag. Lorcia, and out of her steeple there was hung a black flag, which denotes a display of battlements, by the way. Sing oak and see, Patrick, my dear, my heart was him reading. Oh, wait, Patrick, my dear, my who was him made this law? Some they do say 'twas the big man of straw. Big man of straw. Big man of straw. Duke of Dorset, Lord of Lieutenant of Ireland. Good to know. But others they do say it was the Jug Jolter. Jug Jolter means primate bolter, whose name is played upon the succeeding line in consequence of the public dissatisfaction expressed at the lowering the gold coin. I really, really, really do not like Jonathan Swift. The primate became very unpopular, just like Jonathan Swift. Urgh. Where the heck was I? Sing Oak and See, which is that funeral cry stuff. Musha, my parliament, wouldn't you maul those carters and parvers and footmen and all? Footman alludes to a supporter of the measure said to have been the grandson of a servant. Those rascally parvors who did us undermine. Akamak, Sia Mulligart. Heavens above, what that does mean. Ah, there it is. Translated in good old fashioned English. My 100,000 hearty curses on the feeders of swine. I like pig. I'm hungry for it. How do I put that into the poem? Musha, why parliament wouldn't you maul those carters and parvors and footmen and all? Those rascally parvors who did us undermine. My 100,000 hearty curses on the feeders of swine. Sing, awk, and see. Jonathan Swift. Remember when I said that, good poetry can, people were being taught good poetry to, elevate the whole, genre of poetry? Jonathan Swift, I don't think that would elevate much poetry compared to what is taught now. No, no. Rudyard Kipling, maybe, Yeats. I never got taught Yeats. William Butler, Bill Butler, just like Bill over there. I was never taught Yeats. No. Who else? Edward Smythe or Smith Jones. I would know how to say his name if I was taught him. It didn't happen. Those are the good guys, and there's some gals in there, but I don't like Hilary Belloc. I don't like, and I don't like Jonathan Swift with his discruciate words and asking doctors what the dullest beast is. What is the dullest beast? Let's see. In modern Modern senses. Dull beast. A dull beast. That could be like a really boring big animal. A really boring big animal. Let me think of a big boring animal. Elephants can be pretty exciting when they get, kind of upset. But a big cow, they're very boring. I mean, they're just, just munching and just kind of confused. Then they go back to munching and they throw up in their mouth and they keep chewing and they swallow it again. They do that. I don't want to know how they do it. I mean, I'm going to regret that I ate dinner already. The dullest beast. It could be cow. Could be bears are pretty exciting. I wouldn't say dull. I mean, when they've fully fed and are hibernating, yeah, they're dull. I wouldn't want to wake them though. Dull beast. A dull beast doesn't have to be an animal. It could be a big tractor with a distributor cap taken off of it. So it's just this big, dull beast of a machine. It just sits there. Yeah, that's it. The dull beast. A big tractor with no distributor cap. That'd do it. Maybe I'll like this poem better if I think about the dull beast. Let me go find it. Where's the poem? Oh, where are you? The dull beast. I'm going to fix Jonathan Swift's. I'm going to answer Jonathan Swift's question for him. The doctor's not going to have to read it. Pray discruciate what follows. The tractor in Gentleman's Liquor, when young is often due to the vicar. The tractor in Swine's Delight, make up a bird very swift of flight. It's not working. The tractor, when high in stature, and another of royal nature, for breeding is useful creature. It doesn't work. A broken tractor. A broken tractor in a party distress when too long is bad at best. That works. A broken tractor in the saddle it wears. Yeah, okay, that kind of works. Is good for partridge, not for hares. That kind of works. I mean, you can ride a tractor. It could be called a saddle. Yes, that does work. A broken tractor and kind voice of a cat will make a horse go through. Ye be not fat. That one doesn't work at all. A broken tractor and of birds in the air is that of by which all Irishmen swear. They do farming out there, I guess. The broken tractor and famed college fatigues is a person very unfit for intrigues. Yes, the broken tractor and a cobbler's tool with a boy that is only fit for school. In summer is very pleasant and cool. Farmers, summer, harvesting, yes, yes. A broken tractor is useless for that. A broken tractor and that which you kiss may break a limb of master amiss. Not at all. Of serpent kind and what a distant kills, poor Mistress Dingley off hath felt in's bills. That doesn't work at all either. The broken tractor and eggs unsound. Without it, I rather walk would. I would without it. I rather would walk on the ground. Well, you have to if you got a broken tractor. The broken tractor and what covers a house. Without it, a writer is not worth a louse. That does not work. A broken tractor and scandalous vermin of roast or boiled to the hungry is charming. Doesn't work at all either. The broken tractor, what's used covered with crust, there's nobody but a fool that would trust. If rust were in there, it would work. A broken tractor and mending highways, yes, it is a horse and evil disease, absolutely. The broken tractor in a hole in the ground will dress a dinner with worth £5. Yes, true. The broken tractor and what doctors pretend the cook maid often has to by the end. Not at all. The broken tractor and fish for Lent. They give you a blow, you'll forever repent. Not really. The broken tractor and the shameful jeer Oh, I'm shameful for trying to put Broken Tractor in this. Without it, a lady should never appear. If you got a broken tractor, you're not getting the ladies. That's a lesson I learned from that. I'm done with Jonathan Swift. I can't do this anymore with him. Anyway, Bill says hi. I say bye. Have a good night.